Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 10 of the Vuelta, España 2021. 190 kilometers, about 120 miles in length. It's not that difficult of a stage until you get near the end when there's 11-kilometer climb at about 5% average. Now, when I woke up this morning, I didn't think there'd be that much excitement on today's stage. I thought a break would get away. That's what happens. That break gets some massive time right away, and it's 31 riders. I mean, just about everyone in the peloton is represented, but no one that's a real danger on the GC hunt. Now, like I said, I expected this, no big deal. I wasn't surprised by it. When it started getting up to over 9 minutes, because top rider in the front group there is Intermarché's Eiking, and he's about 110 on GC, and then Guillaume Martin, the Cofidis rider, is about 140 on general classification. So 55 kilometers to go. That group of 31, which had been gelling well, working really well together. Now, there was 2 hours of nonstop racing at massive speeds. We're talking 48, 49, 50 kilometers an hour, average speeds for the first 2 hours. So when this group of 31 get up there, they're working well together and they're still gaining time on the Jumbo-Visma-led GC peloton back there chasing. Now, Jumbo-Visma is just easing up. They can tell they're riding pretty smooth. Your group of 31's going up the road. With 55 kilometers to go, Primoz Roglic is going to drop back to his team car. He's going to have a little chat with his director back there, and they're going to chat and discuss what they want the tactics to be. He'll ride back up to the front. That gap to the front group of 31 will still continue to extend out there. Now, when I'm sitting on the couch, you realize that red jersey's probably going to change on today's stage. Like I said, the finishing climb is not easy, but it averages about 5%, but really long at 11 kilometers. So the group behind of GC favorites going to have to race really hard if they want to save that red jersey. Jumbo-Visma is still extending the time out. Takes to about 35 kilometers to go that group of 35 start attacking each other, and it's going to come with Matteo Trentin, the UAE Team Emirates rider, and Aaron Burrow Astana. They throw in the first attack. 2 more guys jump on for company, and they'll start the climb with about a 20-second, 30-second lead on the rest of the breakaway riders. Now, the group of 4 up front, they will get caught, and it'll be the next UAE Team Emirates rider, Rui Oliveira, that'll throw in the next attack. With 20 kilometers to go, Kenny Elizon passes Rui up front and starts going solo, but he's got quality riders chasing behind him. It's DSM, Michael Storer in the group, Bouchard from AG2R, Mari van Savenot, the Koenig Quickstep, Schultz from Bike Exchange. That group behind will catch Kenny Elizon eventually, and then it's Michael Storer at 19 kilometers to go that starts to go solo up the road. Now remember, Michael Storer, he won stage 7 already at this year's Vuelta, so we know he's on fantastic form, and he won from a breakaway, and he won on a day that was aggressive from kilometer 0 all the way to the finish. The same thing that we're witnessing on today's stage 10. So Michael Storer is going up the road. The group behind, they can't do anything about it, as Storer is just putting time into him all the way to the summit. He'll have over 30 seconds advantage on the group behind chasing. It's Eiking back there and Martin. Eiking had tried to get rid of Guillaume Martin once or twice going up the climb, but that wasn't going to happen. They'll go over the top together to chase Michael Storer. Storer's putting on a fabulous show, though, all the way down the descent. He's on fabulous form. When it flattens out, he's still driving all the way to the finish to win stage 10 of the Vuelta España, his second victory at this year's Vuelta, now behind the GC favorites. When they were going up the climb, I thought that was it. I thought we were watching the front group of 31, but no way, because we got Jumbo-Visma in the group, remember? And they like to do whatever they want to do, and they shoot from the hip. I mean, it's like watching 6 guns out there at the OK Corral. They're just blowing bullets all over the place for no reason. First starting the climb, we saw Movistar in the front just for a little bit. Then Ineos got on the front for some reason. I can't explain that either. And then Jumbo-Visma's Primoz Roglic starts lighting up the climb. Now this, all of a sudden I'm sitting up. I'm like, wow, we got another bike race. We're watching the guys up front. We're watching the guys chasing for general classification, talking about Eiking and Guillaume Martin racing each other up that climb. Now we get to see a GC race along with Primoz Roglic and Movistar and Ineos battling it out up the climb. It was fabulous. I mean, the tactics that Jumbo-Visma are employing right now with Primoz Roglic, it is absolutely beautiful. to watch. It's absolutely knucklehead tactics. I'm sitting there on the couch. I can't absolutely understand what is going on. My head is blowing up. I'm watching Primoz Roglic going up a climb that's going to summit with 15 kilometers. It's going to be a technical, crazy, dangerous descent. Now remember, we're in the south of Spain. Now I lived there. I lived in Denia, right on the Casablanca area there, and it was absolutely dusty, dry roads, oily, nastiest, slippery roads that you can imagine riding your bike on. That's what the south of Spain has for you. I would recommend going down there riding your bike for sure as a tourist, but I would never recommend going down and wanting to race your bike downhill on a crazy descent like we have on this stage 10. But Primoz Roglic, he doesn't, logic just doesn't sit, which is good for us fans because it makes the bike racing absolutely exciting. Primoz Roglic is going solo up the road. Guess who's chasing on the front? It's Egan Bernal back there chasing on the front. We saw him get dropped on the last stage 9, but he's the first one to get on front. Egan Bernal, Team Ineos. What are you doing on the front, bro? You are in 5th place on the general classification. Haig is in front of you in 4th. 2 Movistar riders are sitting 2nd and 3rd. And Egan Bernal, you're the one that wants to chase down Primoz Roglic. Great tactic right there. Primoz Roglic going up the road with a knucklehead tactic. Egan Bernal's got a knucklehead tactic. Now Movistar attack, and you're looking at Lopez, Sepp Kuss, Enric Mas, Jack Haig, and Egan Bernal is following, but he is swinging up the road. Primoz Roglic is just putting time into everyone, looking fabulous with his pedaling style all the way up the climb. We'll see Egan Bernal get dropped, though. He can't stay with the leaders near the top. Primoz Roglic is still putting time. He'll go over the summit with 15 kilometers to go with about a 20-second lead on the group of Lopez, Enric Mas, and Jack Haig back there. Sepp Kuss came off just before the top with about 1 kilometer to go. Egan Bernal was hurting so bad, we saw UAE Team Emirates having to ride on the front because Adam Yates is swinging too, and he can't do anything about it. Primoz Roglic is putting time into everyone. He'll go over the top of the climb solo. Now we watch him just carving up the descent. Whoa, 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 whoa. Back up in the story. Remember when I told you we're in the south of Spain? South of Spain, I just told you it's the nastiest, slippery roads you can be in. Primoz Roglic doesn't care. He's dicing up this descent and taking every risk possible till BAM! He's down in the right corner, sliding across the road, all the way off the road, jumps up, grabs his bike, puts his chain on, gets a push from one of the spectators. That allowed the 3 guys from behind, 2 Movistar, Lopez, Enric Mas, and Jack Haig will attach back onto Primoz Roglic. Now, Enric Mas can't go downhill at all. Every turn they're going through, Enric Mas has been losing time. Before Primoz Roglic crashed, it's a good thing for Enric Mas because he might have gotten dropped from his teammate Lopez. Saw him many times on the descent getting on the radio telling Lopez he's got to go slower on the corners. Now, they got Primoz Roglic attached on. Now there's 4 guys there on the GC battle. Everyone behind. You have Sepp Kuss back there on his own someplace. The cameras aren't on him yet. And then behind you have Adam Yates and Egan Bernal that are chasing as hard as they can all out. In that group, you have David de la Cruz, the Italian rider from UAE Team Emirates. He can't go downhill either. He's swinging off the back, opening gaps on every corner that comes up. Now up front, this is what I'm talking about here with tactics. Movistar rode the beginning of the climb. That was a knucklehead tactic too. Now they got Primoz Roglic completely isolated exactly where they want him. The guy's got road rash down the right side of his road. You see him messing with his shorts. And what do Movistar do? Wow, they're just going to ride the front. That's it. That's their best tactic that they can come up with. Now, throughout the first 9 stages of racing and throughout this first stage 10 of racing, the number 1 priority ever when you're trying to win a Grand Tour is to isolate the number 1 rider in the race, Primoz Roglic, wearing red. Now you got him isolated. What are you going to do? You're going to just pull him all the way to the finish? Yep, that's Movistar's tactic. They're just going to pull him all the way to the finish. Jack Haig will ride the front too, just because, I don't know why. Gain some time off of Ineos and Adam Yates, who aren't riding that good anyways, so he's going to ride the front. Sepp Kuss will get back on with Felix Großschartner, And Sepp Kuss will go right to the front and start riding too. Then the Bora Hansgrohe rider, Großschartner, he's on the front right. Guys, the only one sitting on this front group of GC favorites is race leader Primoz Roglic. He's sitting back there like, man, I got a free ride. Primoz Roglic never touched the front until under 1K to go. Now, they'll come to the finish. Primoz Roglic will give up his red jersey because Odd Christian Eiking, the Intermarché rider, held on to take the red race leader's jersey at today's Vuelta Stage 10. Second on general classification will be Guillaume Martin. Third now on general classification is Primoz Roglic. Jumbo-Visma gave up the jersey. That's no big deal. They can win it back at any point in time. But here's the big problem going forward. Whenever you have a crash, I don't care how small it is like seeing the worst chiropractor on the planet and you do not know how your body is going to feel tomorrow and how it's going to be aligned. There's big mountain stages still coming up. Realistically, this Vuelta, only stage 9 so far has been the only real day that we've spent in the big mountains. Stage 7 that Michael Storer won, that was a good stage too, but really we've had one big gigantic mountain stage, and so the bigger ones are still to come. Now all of a sudden fans, everybody wanting to watch spectacular bike racing, which we got to watch on today's stage 10. Now we're going to get to see whether or not if Primoz Roglic has good legs. Remember, on this last climb, only Sepp Kuss from Jumbo-Visma was solid going up this climb. So when we look at these further mountain stages that are just starting, Primoz Roglic, all of a sudden his form might have just dropped down a little bit, and Enric Mas's form coming up a little bit. They'll be a little more even on the climbs if that's the case. Sepp Kuss has come good from Jumbo-Visma. He looked pretty solid today, but still not as good as the Lopez Enric Mas at the front on today's stage. So Sepp Kuss might not be there in these later mountain stages. Primoz Roglic could have some bad legs in the later mountain stages. And now, all of a sudden, Enric Mas and Lopez are up there with a chance to win this year's Vuelta, and a realistic chance if there's any kind of damage done to Primoz Roglic's legs and his fitness from his crazy, ridiculous, completely knucklehead tactic that he employed on today's Stage 10. Now, this is crazy because remember, we've already had 4 mountain summit finishes throughout this Vuelta. Primoz Roglic hasn't attacked on any, and he picked this stage 10 to attack that had the crazy, super slippery, oily, dried out, dusty descent to be able to try to gain maximum time. It just blows my mind when I was watching it. It's absolutely unbelievable to see it. Everyone at Jumbo-Visma should be fired if it wasn't for just the amount of wins that they take anyways. But their tactics are horrendous, like I've said many times here on the Butterfly Effect, and today's Stage 10 just backs up everything I've said in the past about them. I don't even believe they thought that there was more mountain stages to come that Primoz Roglic could have easily gained time on. Instead, they picked today's stage to gain time on all the GC favorites. He crashes hard. Now we got a bike race, and anything is possible on stage 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 21 of this year's Vuelta. Make sure you guys like and subscribe because the action is just getting good at this year's Tour of Spain. See you guys real soon.